Hi, everybody. We're just going to wait a minute for people to come in. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. It is a delight to welcome each of you to the Toward a New Way of Being with Plants conference. My name is Sarah Abbott, and it is my honor to extend this warm welcome with a few opening remarks on behalf of the conference organizing collective. We are absolutely thrilled that so many people are coming together for the conference, over 1,600 people from more than 50 countries. Thank you so much for participating. Most of you as attendees, some of you offering volunteer support, and many of you as speakers. We also extend a hearty thank you to Paul Moss, who initiated and did most of the heavy lifting to bring the conference into being. To begin, I invite you to connect in with 3 breaths, to let the day go and to bring yourself into resonance with the conference offerings and connection with plants and humans. As we relax, becoming aware of our bodies in our spaces and breathe in, we can consciously reconnect with knowing our breathing as an aspect of nature, that each breath is in cycle with the opposite respiration of plants, and that each breath is in connection with everyone gathering for this conference from many places on earth. So let's take those breaths together. From here, I invite you to connect in your own ways with the land, water, air, and sun, with Gaia, Earth Mother, and all beings with gratitude for their alive intelligences that interconnect for the web of life on Earth. May all our relations flourish. I invite you to connect with some trees and plants in your life and or somewhere on Earth, and to attend the conference with them in solidarity and spirit. As Michael Marder writes, vegetal life is coextensive with a distinct subjectivity with which we might engage, and which engages us more frequently than we imagine. The conference title, Toward a New Way of Being with Plants, reflects the predominant Western modern ways of being with plants as objects, resources, and study organisms for human use and consumption, rather than as intelligent, perceptive, and intentional beings in their own right. For many people living with Indigenous and earth-based worldviews, consciously being with plants in right, respectful relationship and kinship is not new. Plants are persons. As Mary Sisip-Genius indicates, plants know their place in the cycle of life. They are always willing to serve their fellow human beings, their fellow beings, to maintain that harmony, human and non-human fellow beings. But they are owed the honor of being asked for their sacrifice. Colonialism and anthropocentric perspectives and behavior have had devastating impacts on Earth lives, the environment, and the climate. Geographers Simon Lewis and Mark Maslin suggest that the Anthropocene started in either 1964, when radionuclide levels peaked in the atmosphere, or in 1610, the year that corresponds with, quoting Carla McManus, a significant and measurable dip in carbon levels in the Earth's atmosphere that was brought on by the mass population decline from the genocide and ecocide that followed European arrival in the Americas. Today, plant species are going extinct at alarming rates. In 2019, scientists found that 571 plant species were declared extinct, and that some plants have been going extinct 350 to 500 times faster than the natural historical average. As Jacques Leroux co-writes with 5 other scholars, the signs are crystal clear. If we were to condense the Earth's 4.5 billion year old history into 1 calendar year, then life evolved somewhere in June. Dinosaurs appeared somewhere around Christmas, and the Anthropocene starts within the last millisecond of New Year's Eve. Modern plant extinction rates that exceed historical rates by hundreds of times over such a brief period will spell disaster for our planet's future. Coming back to our breathing for another moment, not as a distraction from this devastating situation, but as a reminder of our unique human agency within responsible relations with plants and the environment. As I wrap up, I invite you to acknowledge the original human inhabitants who made their homes on the land and lands you now call home. For me, this is Treaty 4 territory in Saskatchewan, Canada, the original and current homelands of the Nehiyawak, Anishinaabeg, Dakota, Lakota, Nakota, and Métis nations. Now, we're going to hear from students Polly Sulia and Rissa Kier-Fitchin for their beautiful acknowledgement of the territory and First Peoples on the lands now occupied by the University of Minnesota, which is generously hosting toward a new way of being with plants. Thank you, Miigwech. We wish you all a rich and engaging conference experience.
Haumidakiapi, Yishkanwichiakapi, Washichuya, Polisuya, Makiapi, Dakota Makiochitana Naja, Makiapido, Oyata Mitawa Keen, Sisituan, Bintuan, Ivichi Kapido, Minishoto, Wunspe, Wankantia, Babadawa, Mechanical Engineering, Wunspe Mitiche. Hi everyone, I said it's good to see you all. My name is Polly Suya. My Dakota name is Standing Strong in Spirit. My tribe is the Sisseton Wahpeton out in South Dakota. I'm from Roseville, Minnesota. I go to the University of Minnesota. I study mechanical engineering, and I'm going to be a third-year student this year.
Buju Gakanovia, Wasekumagokwe Indijnakas, Rissa Indijnakas Yaginashimo, Magizi Ninjadim, Gakakakang and Dog, Gawaba, Mekanikag, Nindujuba. Hello everyone, my name is Rissa, my spirit name is Wasekumagokwe, which means Shining Earth Woman. I am Migizi Clan, and I live here in Minneapolis, but I'm from the White Earth Nation. I'm a 5th-year student here at the University of Minnesota, and I'm majoring in Ojibwe and American Indian Studies, and I'm minoring in social justice.
Did you know that the University of Minnesota lies on occupied Dakota territory? In 1851, the treaties of Mendota and Traverse des Sioux ceded 35,000 miles of land, leaving the Dakota people with only a 20-mile strip just along the Minnesota River. These treaties were endorsed by the U.S. Commissioner of Indian Affairs, Luke Lee, and Minnesota Territorial Governor, Alexander Ramsey, who used threats and other means in order to get their ways. And later that same year, Governor Ramsey established the University of Minnesota on the same Dakota homeland. The school was funded by the U.S. government, which was intended to provide colleges with the benefit of agriculture and the mechanic arts. This marked the first federal aid to higher education, 7 years before Minnesota was even considered a state. Minnesota is originally a Dakota word, actually. Minishota Makoche. It's one of the many Dakota words that we use here, along with Chaske, Shakpe, Matobede, Chanshasha, Mankito, and Minitonka. Mini means water. Shota is cloudy or gray, especially meaning the fog or mist on the water in the morning. And Makoche is land or earth. The Dakota people have always lived here. Their creation site is 9 miles down the river at Pedote, at the confluence of the MN and Mississippi rivers.
While Minnesota Makoche is the motherland to Dakota people, other tribes have also lived here for a long time before colonization, including the Ojibwe and the Ho-Chunk nations. They too were greatly affected by the exploitation of Minnesota by the U.S. government. Ojibwe people were forced to relocate in northern Minnesota, whereas Ho-Chunk people were forced to relocate into Wisconsin. Acknowledging the systematic oppressions and genocide we Indigenous people have faced and continue to face and how it affects our communities today is a very important thing to do. When discussing the history of Minnesota, we, the first people, are often forgotten about, which only perpetuates the same old oppressive system. Recognizing that we are still here in the Indigenous land we live on is only the start of the reparations process. Mi'io miigwech, thank you all for listening and being opening to acknowledging the more accurate history of this land, including the non-dominant histories and narratives about Indigenous people. Miigwech!
Pidame.
Hello, everyone. I'm Paul Moss, and I'm here to welcome you again to the conference. Thank you so much for taking your time to be here today and to participate in this event. We hope this conference will be really a start of something new and important in terms of the way that people and plants interact. I want to use a few minutes of my remarks here to just acknowledge some of the sponsors of this event, without which this could not have occurred. I'm just going to read through them. It's an important list of those who have given either financially or through publicizing the event. We're so delighted that so many people are here today. So University of Minnesota Institute on the Environment, the University of Minnesota Department of Geography, Environment, and Society, the U of M Department of Landscape Architecture, the U of M Earl E. Bakken Center for Spirituality and Healing, the U of M Environmental Humanities Initiative, CIIS Ecology, Spirituality and Religion Department, the Center for Biological Diversity, the Ecological Citizen, International Center for Eco-Psychology, International Society for Coaching Psychology, and the ISCP International Center for Coaching Psychology Research, KMUD Redwood Community Radio, the Literary and Cultural Plant Studies Network, National Wellbeing Service Limited, Nature-Based Therapeutic Services, Partner with Nature, the Plant Initiative, Pryor's Environmental Limited, and the Tree Whisperer. We're very, very grateful to all of them for their support for this event. Also, we'd like to acknowledge the 10 members of our steering committee by name, and they would be Sarah Abbott, who you've already heard from, Kate Flick, Walter Furness, Jeannie Larson, Simon Ledbeater, Alice McSherry, Laura Pustarfi, Amba Seppi, and Duncan Stone. So thanks very much to everyone. So you're going to notice on the agenda today that there are a lot of sessions. We're very excited. There's two types of sessions. There are both live sessions that will include 30-minute presentations and then about 10 minutes for questions and answers. And there's also going to be pre-recorded sessions of 10 minutes each presentation. So we hope that you'll take advantage of that. We do plan to record and post all of our sessions, or at least most of our sessions, online after the event. So we hope that if you're not able to go to a session today, that you'll have an opportunity to do that at a later time. We have if you may see on your agenda, there are some networking opportunities. They're called network tables. We are full for today, but if you would like to look into that, you could look into some of the emails that you probably have recently been receiving and sign up for one of the slots tomorrow. If you wind up having any questions or like technical issues that you need help for, again, you could refer to one of the email messages that I sent out today, or you could contact, if it's Whova related, you can contact support@whova.com, or if it's related to your Zoom connection, you could contact University of Minnesota Help Desk at help@umn.edu. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to just some a musical interlude that'll allow you to take some time and find which of the 4 of the first sessions that you would like to participate in. We look forward to seeing you again later on in the conference. So thanks again for taking your time and for your interest in trying to develop a new way of being with plants. It's so important, and we hope that this will be the beginning of a lot more work in this area. So thank you very much.
Hello, hello. I'm Madeline, and this is Brian, and we have a new song. It's called Seed Coat, and I was just thinking about it with the conference in mind and thought maybe you'd be interested. I would say that it's kind of an artistic idea of what a seed coat's doing. It's also meant to be a metaphor for the human experience of growing, of breaking out of the old and into a new kind of pattern. Also, I feel like that's kind of happening culturally with, well, globally with COVID. So it's sort of a all-encompassing. This is called Seed Coat. Woke up today and the coat that I wore was too tight for me to breathe. So I stretched my tongue and pushed, broke my way into the newness, reached down and felt the nutrients, the soil, and I reached up and unfurled. My coat was too tight, so I reached down and up and felt the sun. Felt the wet, felt the dark, felt the feeling. I take what you can't breathe, saturated with my leaves. Reach down and soak it up, turn it into life again. Take what you can't breathe, saturated with my leaves. Reach down and soak it up, turn it into life again. Woke up today and the coat that I wore was too tight for me to breathe. So I stretched my tongue and pushed, broke my way into the newness, reached down and felt the nutrients, the soil, and I reached up and unfurled. My coat was too tight, so I reached down and up and felt the sun. Felt the wet, felt the dark, felt the feeling. I take what you can't breathe, saturated with my leaves. Reach down and soak it up, turn it into life again. Take what you can't breathe, saturated with my leaves. Reach down and soak it up,